formally handed over the reins of its national organization to Nitin Nabin, who has taken charge as the party's youngest ever national president at just 45. A move that marks a clear attempt to project youth, energy and generational change within India's largest party. Now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, speaking at the event, framed this transition not merely as an organizational change, but as a strategic shift towards the next generation. In his remarks, he delivered some striking lines. For example, he said, "When it comes to party matters, Nitin Nabin is my boss and I am a party worker." He stressed that this generational renewal isn't just symbolic, it reflects the BJP's confidence in leaders who have grown up in a rapidly transforming India, a generation that has seen our economy, technology and society evolve dramatically. But it wasn't just about celebrating a generational shift, of course. The PM also took a pointed dig at the opposition, particularly on the question of leadership and quote dynastic politics. While he didn't single out anyone, his broader political narrative underscored that BJP is striving to break from the politics of the past, contrasting it with what he terms outdated, status quo, dynastic tendencies that keep opposition parties stuck in old frameworks instead of embracing change. So have other parties been stuck? National or regional parties, have they failed to evolve? And is that one of the key reasons that a traditional conservative party like BJP in India is resonating even with the youth of this country? We'll take that and more to our guest joining us in just a bit. A little bit more about Nitin Nabin. The BJP has chosen a leader who is breaking conventional expectations. First up, the headline grabbing aspect about him is the fact that he's just 45 years old. In politics, that is pretty young. He becomes the youngest president of the party as well, signaling a shift towards more youth or youthful leadership. Unlike some of the party's past presidents, he's not really a mass face. They've had very tall BJP leaders be party presidents. He's not really known for his charismatic public appeal or anything. He's a quiet grassroots strategist who has worked behind the scenes so far. His rise is being credited to a more merit-based system, having built his career through the ABVP and key state-level organizational roles rather than relying on any family connections or factional support. In fact, observers are terming him as a bit of a dark horse, and many credit him as being selected because, to his credit, he's someone who focuses, as they say, on execution and implementation rather than engaging in internal politics or factionalism. So that must have gone in his favor, at least as far as the BJP's party leadership is concerned and the vote from the PM, HM and current president or outgoing president is concerned. But that doesn't mean that Nitin Nabin will not have more than enough challenges going ahead in an uncertain global atmosphere, but also a changing landscape as far as politics, demography and aspirations in India are concerned. Nabin has to now lead aggressive campaigns in West Bengal against an entrenched TMC, of course, and repeat the mandate in a state like Assam, along with expand the presence in Tamil Nadu, Kerala and Puducherry, all tall asks. He also has to handle the very politically sensitive caste enumeration that is expected around 2027, address OBC and Dalit aspirations without diluting the BJP's core voter base or unsettling any alliance partners. The BJP has to, as the single largest party in India and also one with South India ambitions, it has to navigate southern states' anxieties over potential delimitation, which is also on the cards. The party under Nitin Nabin will have to build cross-party consensus for simultaneous polls, one of the big key ticket reform of Narendra Modi. It has to counter opposition claims of centralization, erosion of federalism and systemic advantage to national parties. And of course, not to forget, the next Lok Sabha elections will be fought under his leadership in 2029. So narrative control ahead of the next elections, shaping the party's strategy, all will be his responsibility. Listen in to how the PM reposed faith in this new BJP millennial president, as he called him.
हमारे माननीय नितिन नवीन जी बीजेपी की विरासत को आगे बढ़ाएंगे। मैं आजकल के युवाओं की भाषा में कहूं तो नितिन जी खुद भी एक प्रकार से मिलेनियल है। वो उस जनरेशन से हैं जिसने भारत में बड़े आर्थिक, सामाजिक और टेक्नोलॉजिकल परिवर्तन होते देखे हैं। वो उस जनरेशन से हैं जिसने बचपन में रेडियो से सूचनाएं पाई और आज एआई के भी एक्टिव यूजर है।
While BJP has made a bold move of making a 45-year-old their president, let's just take a look at their competition. Let's start with the Congress party, for example. It's a party that is stuck in family politics. The Gandhi family is the party number one. But even when they did choose a non-Gandhi party president after a long delay, who did they choose? They chose an 83-year-old Mallikarjun Kharge. Experience, sure, but is there that youth connect that you need these days? Other parties are completely dynasty-driven to the T. There is Akhilesh Yadav, who's stepping into his father's shoes in his party. There is Tejashwi Yadav, who's also young himself, but carries the Lalu name. And the only reason he is party president is that family lineage. Even after this Bihar loss, unlikely that he will be removed from that position or there will be any change within the party leadership. There is, of course, M.K. Stalin, a tall regional leader that BJP will be going up against in Tamil Nadu elections. He himself is a dynast, leading his father, and after him will be his son, Udayanithi Stalin. TMC is a different party because it was started by Mamata Banerjee, and she, of course, did not have any familial grounds in politics. But even in this case, now the future president, in all probability, is going to be her nephew Abhishek. So the issue is not just youth, but also dynasty-driven politics, which of course the BJP and the Prime Minister never fail to mention. So the big question we're asking today is this: even as the BJP has announced its new generation, quote-unquote, millennial president, are other parties in India really still stuck in the past when it comes to their generational leadership change? That debate is coming up.
कि आने वाले विधानसभा चुनावों में भी लोग केरला में बीजेपी को अवसर जरूर देंगे।
भारतीय जनता पार्टी आने वाले समय में अब बंगाल में भी कमल खिलाएगी, बंगाल में भी कमल खिलाएगी। पुडुचेरी में और तमिलनाडु में हम सरकार बनाएंगे।
लेकिन हम पूरी तरह से आश्वस्त हैं कि भाजपा का कार्यकर्ता अपने संघर्ष और परिश्रम के बल पर इन पांचों राज्यों में सशक्त भाजपा का नेतृत्व प्रदान करने जाएगा।
Let's go across to our guest joining us. Guru Prakash Paswan is national spokesperson of the BJP from the same state as Nitin Nabeen, Mahima Singh, Congress spokesperson, Rashid Kidwai, senior journalist, and Rajat Sethi, political analyst, also with us. Rashid Kidwai, I want to begin with you. Would it be fair to say that as far as party matters is concerned, party leadership issues is concerned, the BJP is once again showing the way to other parties which continue to be mired either in dynasty politics or in leadership of the past?
Yeah. Thank you, Shivani. Shivani, today is the first day of Mr. Nabeen Nitin as BJP president. It will be very unfair to, criticize him or talk about things that, but, the job of a political analyst is to be candid. The relationship between a political party which is in power and the party organization is of that of a philosopher and king. So in that sense, the new BJP president has a role of a philosopher. He can guide, he can advise, but when it comes to vote catching, vote gathering ability, it is Mr. Narendra Modi, Mr. Amit Shah and others. So in that sense, he is not a kind of very optimistic sign, but in terms of optics, yes, but in terms of substance, no. See, if you look at the electoral history of India, there is no correlation between having a robust organizational setup and success. Success comes from an individual, whether it was Indira Gandhi, whether it was Narendra Modi, whether it was Arvind Kejriwal or Mayawati. Mayawati, she did not even have a party constitution, no party organizational network. Even then she won. So therefore, in India, what you say, the opposite is true. As I said, today is not a day to criticize the new BJP president, but it is very, we are talking about optics, not substance.
It's not so much about him, it's about the party's vision to even give the reins of what is a very large political organization to a 45-year-old who hasn't been very, hasn't really been in Delhi circles, so as to say, right? That is what we're looking at, the generational shift particularly that BJP has aspired to make. Whether it succeeds or not is a separate issue. But at least they've
But
shown.
Shivani, it's not about political leadership. Sorry
It
to
isn't?
interrupt, but this is not about political leadership. Political leadership is with Mr. Narendra Modi and Amit Shah, just as the political
But
leadership is
he
with
has
Rahul
the
Gandhi, not with
responsibility
Mallikarjun
of
Kharge.
cadre, of organization, of party, of maintaining the party, growing the party. All of that will still come under him. I mean, you can't say the BJP will not give him the reins, even though they've made the president just today. Maybe in 1 year's time, we can do the postmortem.
Again, speaking from experience, the organizational head has a very little bearing on the outcome.
Okay.
The number of Congress presidents that were not members of Nehru Gandhi family or were not prime minister were inconsequential. Just as Bangaru Lakshman and Jana Krishnamurthy and others as the BJP president were inconsequential. BJP won in 2014 because of Mr. Narendra Modi, and it's winning because of Mr. Narendra Modi, not because of Mr. JP Nadda.
Okay.
If anybody
Guru Prakash
thinks that-
Paswan, maybe reading too much into this generational shift. The Prime Minister obviously spoke his mind. He called him a millennial, technically born in 1980. You could term him a millennial. Why does the BJP then feel that this is such a big generational shift? Because party head at the end of the day is not going to be taking most of your political calls.
No, Shivani, I have some level of disagreement with our senior journalist Rashid ji. Bharatiya Janata Party, we can speak on behalf of BJP, is a political party that works 365 days in the entire year. We have certain abhiyan, certain campaign going around the year. So I don't think the role of the president as described by Rashid ji is as simple as he has just explained to us. We have our structure at the district level, at the mandal level as well. And I think most of us don't know about this aspect that Bharatiya Janata Party has, as a matter of practice, appointed people less than 45 years old as their mandal president, which is the most basic and the most decentralized unit in our organization. That is point number one. Point number two, we have to understand that it is a message not only to the party cadres, but it is a message to the youngsters across the country. It is a message of hope, resilience, and aspiration. Nitin Nabin ji, I'm fortunate. I'm his elector. I live in his constituency in the Bakipur, which is the urban constituency of Patna, and he has been an MLA since the last 20 years. He has served as a state Yuva Morcha president. He has served as National General Secretary of the Yuva Morcha under the presidentship of Mr. Anurag Thakur. And you would remember that the yatra from Kanyakumari to Kashmir to Lal Chowk, he was very much a part of that yatra. Many things on his CV we are all aware of, like the unlikely delivery of victory in Chhattisgarh, where everyone righted us out. They said BJP is not going to come back to power. He was in charge of Sikkim as well. So I think the experience, the youth vision, the energy, the enthusiasm, the excitement, Nitin Nabin ji represents a combination of all these factors. And the Bharatiya Janata Party has always ensured this. And I mean, when Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji was made the president of Jan Sangh, he was also 48. When Amit Shah ji became the president of Bharatiya Janata Party, he was 49. So it is not anything which is unprecedented or new. The Bharatiya Janata Party has consciously cultivated leadership for the next 25 years. And let me add one more thing to this decision, that the team which will be formed, the team would be formed keeping the next 25 years in mind. The national general secretaries, the national secretaries, all our media people, all our Manch, Morcha, the Public Policy Research Division, across the party, you would see a major landmark transition.
No, interesting.
Today.
Interesting you mentioned that, because the PM also said that Nitin Nabin will now lead the party for the next 25 years. Mahima Singh, compare this, since you're from the Congress, to what's going on in the Congress. I mean, the Congress is facing a double whammy. Not only is it stuck in the past with just one family, Gandhi family, making Rahul Gandhi the Prime Minister, even if he's not the party head, he's the de facto head of the party. And you're actually facing a double whammy. Not only are you not being able to move on from the Gandhi family, your young faces have perpetually been leaving your party. Contrast that to the message that the BJP is sending of youth and non-dynastic politics.
Jai Hind. Shivani, I'm quite intrigued at your stance. You said even if Rahul Gandhi is not the party president, he is the de facto head of the party. Was Mr. Modi the party president when he became the Prime Minister? My question number one to you. My question number two to you, you are saying by doing this, the BJP has created leadership for the next 25 years. Well, we have seen tall leaders in the BJP. Where is Mr. Murli Manohar Joshi today? Where is Mr. L.K. Advani today? All of us empathize with them. In fact, they are in a pitiful state where they are pushed to the sides of the stages, and now they are not seen on the stages anymore. We have also seen how Mr. Modi, when he goes to greet him, intimidates, stands over him in intimidating postures. Leave that aside also. Now, Mr. Nitin Nabeen has become the newest lamb to slaughter of the Modi-Shah duo. Let me just say that. You know, the BJP is a party that runs on its whims and fancies. The BJP is a party that has no internal democracy, which is why they don't trust and respect the democratic processes in the country, hence SIR, hence vote chori. And if the BJP had its leadership, in fact, Shivani, all these years, if leaders were created in the BJP, they won't have to poach it from other parties. As we have been seeing, the BJP is not the biggest party in the country. The BJP is the biggest horse trading unit in the country. The BJP is the biggest Hippocratic unit in the country. And what we have seen today, you know, every time a leader is chosen at the helm in the BJP, we see the position being weakened. We see the postures going more cowardly, more submissive and servile in their, imagery. So that is what the country is seeing. And, Mr.
I'm
Modi
surprised
and Shah
you're talking about somebody being in service and servile. Do you remember the images of how Prime Minister Manmohan Singh used to look in front of Sonia Gandhi? I don't even want to bring that up because that's not the focus of my debate. But he's 40, one second, ma'am, he's 45 years old. Surely, Dr. Manmohan Singh. He's 45 years old. If he's showing reverence to a 75-year-old Narendra Modi, I don't think that that's being servile. There's an age difference.
Shivani, big thanks to you for reminding us.
Yeah.
Because remember how Dr. Manmohan Singh stood parallel to Dr. Barack Obama and faced the press responsibly. Unlike now, when Mr. Modi stands before the press in the US and a question is, posed to him.
I think we're deviating from our discussion. Mahima Singh, I just wanted you to focus on the point. I want your view as the Congress spokesperson.
Position of the Prime Minister.
Mahima Singh, I wanted your view as the Congress spokesperson on, do you think the Congress party or other regional parties are sending the right message when only party lineage is able to become party president, and when, there is older leadership that is still in control? You may not agree with what the BJP has done. I want to understand from you what is the message, for example, the other rival national party, the Congress party, has been able to send as far as its leadership is concerned.
Shivani, you are in the business of perception building, image building. You are rightly doing so by conducting a whole show on how the BJP is doing it right. I am in the business of showing a mirror to the ruling party and to the government and to the news channel when it comes at that. So let me just do that, and let me just say, you brought it to Dr. Manmohan Singh. In fact, you mispronounced Mr. Manmohan Singh, and I showed you a mirror by saying that his stature is remembered by generations to the extent that even the BJP had to bow down before a prime minister who in his legacy said that the history will be kinder to me, and history is indeed kinder to him. The whole world remembers him. The whole world will remember our current Prime Minister for being Hippocratic, for having a wrong degree,
we aren't discussing Prime Ministers. You talked about Nitin Nabeen being servile, right? You used that word when he was on stage. So I'm only commenting on that. What is servile in this case? What was servile in this case? But in any case, that's not the focus of my debate.
Your neutral position of a moderator and anchor.
Ma'am,
Ma'am,
I'm asking you a question, but you're not answering my question.
I'm absolutely answering your question. I started by answering your first question, and I raised a question to you. Was Mr. Modi the BJP head? Why are your perceptions so skewed? Was Mr. Modi the BJP head when he became the Prime Minister?
That's not the question I asked you. The question I asked you was that there is... Mahima Singh, the question I'm asking you is that here you have a party that has shown a message to the young of this country that somebody who is an ordinary karyakarta can become the party president, right? He's not really someone who was known to the media even that very much. has certain administrative experience, has been chosen, handpicked to become the party president. Are other parties also setting that merit-based
Let me
example?
tell
Ma'am,
you.
at least allow me to finish my question. Are other political parties like yourself setting that example that merit will come first and not family collections? That was my question to you.
Merit is always, it has been first, is first. You know why the BJP is pained by the Gandhi family? They are pained by the Gandhi family, and you guys, join them in that because this is the only party that keeps their virile, intentions behind checks. And let me just say that when Kharge ji was elected, he was elected by thousands of PCC delegates, the delegates within the party, which are also, chosen through a due process. What is the process in the BJP? What is this nomination business? What whims and fancies is the BJP running on? Mr. Nadda was made a president and then he was extended, and then 6 years he remains the president. You were also speaking about fixing accountability earlier during the story part of your show. I would ask you, Shivani, how many elections did the BJP got defeated in? In fact, Mr. Nadda's home state, Himachal, did we see the accountability being fixed? Did we see Mr. Nadda stepping down? No, we did not. So please, you can continue doing your business of perception building, but the people will keep seeing through the BJP's conduct. And
it is indeed about perception. Party politics and government politics is all about perception. It is about telling the public what you stand for. So Rajat Sethi has the BJP indeed sent any kind of a different messaging as the party would like us to believe that this is the first millennial president? Would it make such a big difference in how he runs a party, how the party looks at the next 25 years?
I don't think, Shivani ji, we should jump the gun. When a young leader, reaches up to this level, we should celebrate it and not be, pathologically negative in our approach to everything that we analyze. I mean, analysts are very good at armchair commentary and passing comments without having worked equally hard as people, especially politicians around us, work. So we should give them some credence if he has risen up the ladders. All credit to him. And I think we should first, be appreciative of the fact that young leaders are coming in, reaching and representing this youthful nation. And we should also hope and pray that all other parties can also promote youth leadership. I mean, a simple message of positivity, Congress party could have also given. But, I can't stoop down to their level of negativity. It takes extra hard work, which I'm not ready to put in. I will just say, Congress party would be better off, instead of commenting on the BJP's internal affairs, to focus on its own affairs, and all parties should focus on their internal affairs and leave it to the public to decide. The public will look at Nitin Naveen ji's work and will decide how effective BJP is representing them. It will be the youngsters of various states, the 5 states that are going into elections, will look up to him. The cadres of the BJP, which will go out and slog for the next couple of months for the upcoming election, will look up to him to mobilize him to charge up the cadre base. So, I mean, allow him to work. He's just come in under very, very big shoes that he has to come in and fit. There's already a lot of pressure on him. So we should, as commentators, at least the least that we can do is to allow him space. And in any case, he is a representation, a leader of a political party which is in power, a very, very important position. And therefore, he represents voices of 20-30 crore voters, supporters of the BJP.
But
so
what about what
representing
Rashid
the whole
Kidwai
employee.
said, that ultimately political decision making is not so much in Nitin Naveen's hand. It will still be, and rightfully so maybe, in the hands of Narendra Modi or Amit Shah.
Who said that? Is there a paper published, peer-reviewed paper published on the internal working of the party, which has to be accepted like gospel truth? Like, is it Rashid ji's point of view? It is my point of view. Now, the two of us can quarrel here, which we don't want to because we're very good friends. What I want to simply say is that is his perspective. I don't think that BJP operates like that. BJP is a very decentralized party, by the way. A lot of decision-making happens objectively, and objective decision-making happens also in the parliamentary board. There are a lot of day-to-day operations of the party which happens with the party's presidents, not only. See, you need to understand, it is not a small party where, we can start pointing fingers out and they don't know how to run the party. I mean, that party has been in office for past 40, 50 years. They've been running this, being the principal opposition and now the principal ruling party. Somewhere BJP is doing the acts correct, right? So we as individual analysts, we don't have the authority, either the experience or anything of that sort to come out and make such sweeping assertions that decision making is not with the BJP president. I mean, that is a bit much.
So, objectively speaking, Rashid Kidwai, I take the same question to you. Has Congress or other parties, you look at the RJD recently, you look at the Samajwadi Party in UP, DMK, TMC, have they also managed to set the same parameters of who is promoted through the party ranks, or do you think this is a fair criticism of dynasty-based parties that they haven't really evolved in an evolving India?
Shivani, I think my friend Rajat Sethi is trying to be politically correct. The facts speak otherwise. You look at the popularity rating of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, established fact. He is the biggest vote catcher, vote getter since 2014. Not only in the 3 parliamentary elections, but in series of state assembly elections. Similarly, one can say about Mamata Banerjee, whenever she wins, and she's been winning, M.K. Stalin, Arvind Kejriwal, and a number of state leaders. It is totally bereft of the kind of organizational setup they have. Look at the BJP, history of BJP since 1980 when it was formed. It always had this Padna Pramukhs, it always had the Bhajpa Yuva Morcha and the organizational setup, but they could not get to 72 unless Mr. Modi arrived on the scene.
No.
Under Jawaharlal Nehru. So I'm just
So
trying to
forget the
explain.
past. No, Rashid Kidwai,
Yeah.
forget the past. You know,
Even
BJP,
today.
once again, sir, BJP is saying they're setting the benchmark for the next 20-25 years. Are other parties also being able to do so? Please respond on the whole dynasty issue, because the BJP does separate itself from other parties on the basis of this issue.
So, Shivani, that is what I am submitting, that the entire premise is flawed. Anybody in this panel, can they believe that the BJP won a singular election because of JP Nadda? His own state, Himachal, they lost to the Congress. But I'm not holding that again. That is why I said the job of a party president is that of a philosopher, a guide, not the king. King is Mr. Narendra Modi. King was
But
Rahul
who
Gandhi,
can
Sonia Gandhi,
become,
Jawaharlal Nehru.
Rashid Kidwai, who can even aspire to become the party president is the question here. Can ordinary karyakartas aspire to become the party presidents in other parties? That's the question I'm asking.
Shivani, you can go on debating this, but what I'm saying is, we are in electoral politics. Democracy is about winning. There have been 88 AICC presidents. How many would you remember, or how many would I remember, other than Jawaharlal Nehru, Indira Gandhi, Rajiv Gandhi, Sonia Gandhi, maybe P.V. Narasimha Rao, Sitaram Kesari? See, this is a long and short of, the capsule of Congress history. And this applies to others. Nobody remembers Bangaru Lakshman's tenure. What point I'm saying is that the organization has a thing, it's about optics, that they have appointed a young president. But the young president, if there is an election in Bengal, in Assam, in Kerala, in Tamil Nadu, you see, it is Mr. Modi who will be there on the big ticket. And
No, fair enough, but both are not at cross purposes. Both can work together. Both are not, inimical to each other, that whether you have a tall leader on whose name you will catch votes, that's fine, that's fair. But that doesn't mean that party representation or party organization cannot go to worthy candidates. I mean, contrast that to what, for example, the Congress has faced. Several young faces have left, cribbing about the fact that they don't get opportunities.
Listen. Yeah. So now, see, for instance, the young face in Assam, Mr. Gaurav Gogoi, has the opportunity. If he wins, then obviously it will be a testimonial that the young leadership of Congress has won. Over Deputy Sachin Pilot in Rajasthan, Revant Reddy in Telangana. We can talk about it, but we can't be talking about party presidents who are faceless.
Okay, party presidents not so key or critical to either the journey of the political party or to electoral results. Mr. Paswan.
No, I think Mr. Kidwai is a very senior commentator, but reducing party president office of world's largest political party to such a thing is something which is very unfortunate and has no meaning with reality or logic as far as I can understand, because I am a second generation politician and I have seen politics since my childhood. I understand that the party president's office is something which is very meaningful and very consequential. But as far as the Bharatiya Janata Party is concerned, let me tell you, the panelist from the Congress party was commenting on internal democracy. It is the 50th year of emergency. The darkest days of India's democracy was during emergency 1975. And we are all aware of the fact that the state of democracy within the Congress party is so deep, is so meaningful that the TMC in West Bengal and the DMK in Tamil Nadu are also not listening to the Congress party. For the Bharatiya Janata Party, it is a day of hope. And from today onwards, let me tell you this as a very categorical, as a member of the Bharatiya Janata Party, as a worker of the Bharatiya Janata Party, there is a renewed sense of optimism. The message cannot be explained in just such set of words. You have to understand, you have to imagine. I was at the party headquarters in Patna today, Shivani. In Patna, and I was at the party headquarters in Patna today, and we saw the broadcasting that happened. And common people, non-political people, they gathered, thousands of people, has absolutely no connection to politics. But today is not a day to complain and criticize or respond to the Congress party. I would not like to waste a second of my time responding to the baseless allegations of the Congress party. But as a member, as a worker of the Bharatiya Janata Party, it is a day of hope, excitement, and a new chapter has started.
Okay, new chapter certainly. Mahima Singh, could the fixation on families and dynastic politics be the death knell of many parties in India? Do you think there needs to be some fresh thinking? The youth of this country, which is 70% of our population now, doesn't look at these issues the way even people looked at 20 years ago or 30 years ago, when it was normal, it was passé, it was understood. But the young of this country don't really believe in those norms anymore.
Shivani, in fact, thank you, but no thank you for, the kind of inquisitions that you're bringing up on your show today, because we are doing just fine. Sangathan Srijan is on its full swing. Congress party is doing well. As soon as the electoral machinery is put back in its correct form, we'll be back into the picture with a bang. But let me just say, Shivani, let's hope what you are saying about the new BJP president is all appropriate and befitting. Let's hope that he will, bring a fresh breath of air in the BJP style of working. Let's hope that the politics of hatred, communalism, bulldozer will take a backseat. Let's hope that he will speak with the family of Yuvraj, the young software engineer who died in Noida yesterday, at the watch of the agencies. Let's hope he'll send a word of apology to the Shankaracharya who's been insulted in UP, a state governed by the BJP. Let's hope that he will speak on SIR. Let's hope he will speak to the victim of Manipur, the rape victim who's just lost her life, who's gone, and 3 years Manipur has been burning. Let's hope that the BJP's new youth president, Gen Z, if not Gen Z, millennial president, let's hope that he will, right? Let's hope he'll talk on all the issues that the country is waiting to hear from by the
absolutely.
Home Minister. Let's hope he will also talk on the open-ended Operation Sindoor. Let's hope all of this, and all the best to him.
Okay, Rajat, final word. Lots of challenges as far as the BJP is concerned. This leadership change is coming at a very crucial time. I listed out some of those challenges that Nitin Nabin will have to face going forward. Your thoughts of, what the party would, is aiming to achieve in the next 5 years, particularly, let's say, later this year itself in 5 state elections or 4 state elections versus this long-term vision. Can Nitin Nabin deliver?
Again, see, if you look at BJP, it's not an individual-centric party. It is not on Nitin Nabin ji himself to actually go out and win elections. All he needs to do is to act as a leader, to empower people right from the booth to mandal to district level to do the best thing that is there for the party, and the party wins. It's the whole entirety of the Karyakarta base that the BJP boasts of, which goes out and win elections. His job remains, and he will be tested that whether he's able to, motivate them, push them to their absolute limits to go out and work hard. That's what a leader does. And I believe, nobody is born as a leader. It is about leadership. You exercise leadership when the opportunity comes. Now, the opportunity is there before him. These are 5 difficult state elections, especially in the areas where BJP hasn't made a mark. He needs to go out. These are areas where he would have perhaps done his pravas, doing his political party activities in each of these states. So he would be having relationship in these states. But going out and taking those calls, taking those decisions around a selection of candidates, doing sabhas, motivating people. All of that is a tough challenge that he will be
Tough challenge
quickly
indeed.
getting on as soon as he gets into the firm in the firm seat.
Yes, even
After this
despite
appointment.
having a vote catcher, as Rashid Kidwai said, in Narendra Modi, it will be tough challenges for the BJP ahead because they've already been in power for now for its third term. So there will be challenges that will only increase from here on. But I'll leave it at that. I do thank our guests for joining us. Ahead of Union Budget 2026, a rethink is being suggested on how married couples are taxed to move away from individual taxation to joint couple taxation options. Many argue that the current system does not reflect modern household economics as it fails to recognize married couples as a single financial unit when incomes and spendings are closely linked. So if optional joint tax filing is introduced, the measure could help reduce overall tax outgo for many households, particularly those dependent on a single income. The idea, which has been put forward by the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, is already followed in countries such as the US and Germany, where joint filing for married couples is an established practice. So what is it that the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India has suggested? They've suggested that basic exemption limit under joint taxation be doubled. So the threshold before which income is not taxed, would be twice the current individual limit, making joint filing more beneficial. Income up to 8 lakh rupees, therefore, another proposal will not attract tax. Combined household income of up to 8 lakh would be exempt. Top rate of 30% for income above 48 lakhs. Mind you, these are joint incomes of both the spouses. For every high combined income, the highest tax rate would apply only beyond 48 lakh rupees. So if implemented, what are the benefits? What could it really mean for the ordinary public and for both single income households and double income households? Combined income of a household will be assessed, so both spouses' incomes will be added together for tax calculation purposes. New and distinct tax slabs will be introduced for joint income, a complete separate tax rate structure for combined income different from individual taxation slabs. This could lower tax liability for families. By aggregating income, some households may pay less tax than if taxed individually and separately. Particularly beneficial for single income couples. If one spouse doesn't earn, the couple can take advantage of lower effective tax rates on the combined income. Beneficial also where one spouse earns significantly higher than the other spouse. So it helps balance the tax burden between two individuals rather than just one. Joint filing could allow for effective use of deductions, exemptions. They can be optimized across the household, potentially reducing overall tax. Retired couples can also benefit from smoother taxation. Combined pensions or retirement incomes can be taxed more evenly. This could lower tax evasion, reduce some of the litigation. So this is also being seen as a move that could simplify the current tax issues and also reduce loopholes or disputes over individual tax declarations. But it might not be very beneficial when it comes to both spouses being high earners, because if both earn a lot, combining incomes will push them into the higher tax brackets and therefore increase liability. But is this an idea that is worthy of implementation, taxing couples jointly on their income? That is coming up with our experts. Nirupama Soundarajan is founder and partner of Policy Consensus Center. Vinod Jain is a CA and tax expert. We'll also be joined with one more guest. But Nirupama, I do want to understand from you, do you think this is a good idea as far as Indian earning couples are concerned? A lot of households today are double income households. Which households would this benefit more, double income or single income, and which bracket exactly according to you?
I think this is an incredibly a good move and a welcome move. And we must keep in mind that there have already been discussions on what kind of tax breaks can be provided, given what the finance minister did offer last year.
Yes.
If they want to continue to add any kind of incentives for people, this is a great way to go about it. I think the people who would benefit the most, as you were just saying, would be your double income households in the middle class, probably even upper middle class. I think where it wouldn't technically benefit, to jointly file would be for the HNI, the double income HNI people. But given the fact that there would always be an option for even those married couples, whether they want to file together or file individually, that would more or less be status quo at worst. But those who choose to file together, I think it would considerably lower tax burden and will even it out, and hopefully also maybe increase the total number of tax filed. Currently it's only about 6.8%, which is showing an increase, but this will actually help increase that tax base further as well.
Yes, and one of the unintended benefits, Vinod Jain, that people are talking about is that this could improve compliance. That, already currently people use certain tools available to transfer their income to a non-working spouse or non-earning spouse to balance some of their tax liabilities. And this would just make it easier for those families and that size of taxation.
You see, in my view, actually this move is fairly, premature. Because, we are trying to follow US, UK and the other countries. But the point is, that in those countries, for example, in US, once Mr. A married to Mrs. B, then A and B, all their assets are considered as together. And suppose there is a divorce, then the wife is entitled to 50% and husband is also entitled to 50%, the combined assets of both the spouses. I think, and in India, of course, there is a complete independence to females. And females are entitled to, their own assets. Males are entitled to their own assets. And till the time the spouse dies, there is nothing which the other spouse can really claim out of his assets or income. This is the background which is very, very important. If you try and start today in India couple taxation, of course, you rightly said that possibly like today up to 12 lakh, there is no taxation. So it can become up to 24 lakh, there is no taxation for that couple. But in India, the kind of scenario we have, at least crores and crores of taxpayers, for example, out of about 9 crore taxpayers who file returns, as per my estimate, about 95% of them, their spouses will not be having taxable income. So that way, I think possibly straight away it will reduce the income of the government by about 30-40%, maybe 50% in those cases. I don't think this is really right. US, Germany are different economies where both the spouses are working. In India, in most of the cases, leaving the large cities like Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, that there also a very small minimum number that both the spouses are working. That means today, spouse A has the income, the other spouse do not have the income. So if you want to combine, obviously, who is going to lose? The government of India.
Okay.
I don't think that is the right
Cross to visuals that are coming in from Noida. This is Sector 150 in Noida, where a very tragic incident had taken place. A young techie, 27-year-old Yuvraj, had gotten into this pit, which is basically a dug-up ground, but it's pretty deep and now is filled with water. His car that was driven into this pit has now been recovered. Finally, you can see the machine that is dragging this car out. But this is that case that has really infuriated not just residents in Noida, around Sector 150 or otherwise, but across the country. A young life lost so painfully and senselessly just because there weren't enough provisions at this road, on this road, when it comes to enough markers, barricading, so that cars do not end up getting into an accident in this pit. Remember, his father has spoken to CNN News 18. He has talked about how there was gross delay as far as any help is concerned. For 2 hours, Yuvraj was there on the car waiting for help to arrive. This is a pretty deep ditch, almost 70 feet, we are being told. So the car was sinking in. He was standing on foot atop that car, waiting for some help, but there couldn't be any machines, any boats, any ropes, nothing provided to him for 2 hours, and he ended up drowning. My colleague Simran is joining us with more on this. Simran, tell us more of what's happening on ground.
Well, absolutely. As in fact the visuals show, the NDRF has reached early this morning. For over 6 hours now, the NDRF has tried to retrieve that vehicle that belonged to the victim, Yuvraj Mehta. And in fact, this is the latest point in which the NDRF has been trying to ascertain once the vehicle comes out, also in fact in which condition and how deep that vehicle must have in fact went, as Yuvraj Mehta had climbed onto this vehicle and asked for help, and he kept on standing on this vehicle Grand Vitara that he was driving, while he called his father, while he also alerted other people, including his friends, and asked for the help. And in fact, today at the very same spot as well, the SIT team also inspected this region while the rescue operation for that vehicle was going on. And the SIT team, after taking a meeting with the other officials in the Noida Law and Order of Noida's office in authority, has also, in fact, seen the latest spot where the vehicle had drowned in that pit.
Yes, also a lot of the agencies were there from Noida Authority and otherwise as well. What is it that they were able to say to the media on ground after they finally took stock of the situation? Because this was an accident-prone spot, isn't it? Because barely 2 weeks ago, a truck driver had kind of crossed the road and ended up in this ditch and had barely managed to survive.
Absolutely. It was, in fact, the silver lining in the entire case that a Flipkart delivery executive who was untrained, of course, to swim into such a kind of filth-full water, but he himself, in fact, went inside that 70 feet deep dig and also tried to save him. He unfortunately could not, but he recounted the horror and said that no one did arrive at time, but the victim did try to also alert others, and he also, in fact, called his father and said, "I am going to lose my life. I don't want to die. Save me." But this time it has been 4 days. 4 days after he died at the same spot, where now residents are calling it a death zone and a death trap. And now the NDRF has come in, and today from noon, they have been trying to retrieve this vehicle that belonged to the victim. And this is also a part of the investigation as well, because there are many other angles on which the entire probe of the SIT will also focus on, including how, in fact, at what speed Yuvraj Mehta was driving the car, even if the visibility had dropped to an very low level, but still, what was the speed at which he was driving the car? The postmortem report is out, but once the vehicle comes out and whatever is left there after it has been now stranded there for 4 days or over 4 days, the probe is also going to take in consideration as to what exactly, after the NDRF takes this vehicle out and also says in the final report.
The UP government has formed an SIT, plus they've taken some action as far as the official apathy and the official action is concerned on officials. But what does the Noida Authority or the police in this case now say? There are builders whose plot this is, but it has been left because of litigation issues. Nothing is happening there. There wasn't enough barricading, not enough signage, and despite an accident happening earlier, 2 weeks earlier, there wasn't enough done on ground. So what are they planning to do now about this spot, Simran?
Now, in fact, the best efforts by the authorities and the NDRF have also focused on that 4 days have passed. Significant amount of delay in retrieving that vehicle has already been caused. There were many angles on which the probe initially started. They also went to track the builder, and one of the builders have been arrested. But now it has been 4 days, and the authorities, as most of them have been under the scanner by the SIT, who is the main now group or the committee that is taking forward and taking the lead into the investigation into this very case.
No, but Simran, any sense from the agency on ground, which would be the Noida Authority plus others, the civic agencies, as to what needs to be done to make this spot safer?
Well, that is also for the directions now. That is largely will be now issued by. That will be issued by the authority itself later on, as the CEO of the authority has been removed in the latest of the orders that have come from, in fact, the higher command as well. But now the SIT that is going to take the probe, they are also give their recommendations, and also in that recommendation and the report that will be finalized and will be submitted from 4 days from today will also include the lapses where there are reconsiderations that need to be made. And apart from that, that, you know, when we talk about, there are many different agencies that are involved in this entire case, where cases like these have also in fact role to play from the fire department, from the traffic cell, from the authority, from the police, and several other authorities that needed to be there on a call that was an emergency one. So that is why once the SIT constitutes its independent inquiry, that is when even all the officials and all the departments particularly will be alerted, and they will follow that action accordingly, given how exactly the SIT has made the note of the lapses at large, and how exactly they have exposed the kind of issues that have been not adhered to from the officials that were present there, and most of the officials that were accountable but in fact failed to do so.
So is this spot where multiple accidents of this kind have taken place? There is this 70 feet deep pit where, you know, vehicles end up getting into it despite the fact that it's off the road. Is this stretch prone to speeding? What is going wrong? Why do these vehicles land up in this ditch?
Well, in fact, when we speak of such a situation, this is the entire NCR area. This is not the only area which is very close to the Yamuna Expressway. And, you know, when we cross Noida and we move forward towards the latest of the areas which are becoming now the centralized high rise also, and also have a very high valuation of the flats as well. Most of these areas which are in fact occupied by the builders, they start the construction, and after some time they kind of stop it, and that is exactly when the problem starts to occur, as authorities have also failed to act on the multiple complaints by the residents. There are nearly 5,000 to 6,000 of residents that are now living and residing in that Tata Eureka society or nearby regions in the 150 sector. So there have been many letters that have been issued, even on the letterheads of the MLA, the local MLA and the MP as well, Mahesh Sharma, who visited the spot today as well. Both of these letters addressed to the authority have clarified that there is an issue on the ground, that most of these stretches, they lack the safety measures. When the visibility drops to a very low level, there is an issue for, in fact, women, children and vulnerable areas, in fact, become prone for any kind of criminal offense. So that is exactly where the problem has intensified as well, because residents have been also approaching the concerned authorities, but also filing their complaints at the portals, where the CM office only takes the cognizance of these independent complaints. But so far, even despite many of the red flags being raised, the authorities did not act upon them.
On time. Precisely. This is a case that could have been well avoided. This life could have been saved if the officials had done their job, but they did not. We'll keep coming back to you, Simran. Thanks a lot for joining. Let's get you a quick check of some of the other stories we're tracking. Madras High Court has reserved its order in the legal battle between Jan Nayagan's filmmakers and the censor board over the film's censor certificate. CBFC argued in court that producers announced the release date prematurely. Producers claimed they already made requested edits, but were then told to reinsert deleted scenes before sending to the revising committee, something they call a pointless step. Tamil Nadu Governor R.N. Ravi walked out of the assembly after the national anthem wasn't played, claiming it insulted the anthem and his microphone was cut off. Chief Minister M.K. Stalin criticized the move, calling it an insult to the assembly and noting past governors showed respect without walkouts. Deputy Chief Minister D.K. Shivkumar in Karnataka departed for the World Economic Forum in Davos after initially cancelling his trip. Opposition criticized him when he first scrapped the trip, saying he chose party and internal political priorities over the state's development and global engagement. Bihar JDU MLA Anand Singh was seen smoking a cigarette inside a Patna hospital during a medical visit from Beor jail, where he's lodged in a murder case. The RJD has slammed the Nitish Kumar government, calling it good governance sham and ridiculing the ruling alliance's claims of maintaining law and order. So far, neither the Bihar government nor BJP JDU have issued any public response. The centre has decided to demolish Krishi Bhavan and Shastri Bhavan in the heart of the national capital to make way for construction of common central secretariat buildings 4 and 5 at a cost of over 3,000 crore rupees. The Central Public Works Department floated a tender in this regard. The demolition will cover an area of 1.22 lakh square meters on Dr. Rajendra Prasad Road. Prateek Yadav, brother of SP chief Akhilesh Yadav, has announced his decision to divorce BJP leader Aparna Yadav. He accused her of being selfish and ruining his family ties, claiming it has affected his mental health. Aparna, vice chairperson of UP State Women's Commission, has not responded. The announcement has stirred debates over both family and political tensions in UP. Time for a very short break. The right stand is coming up on the other side. Thanks a lot.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
Well, shifting focus to some breaking news that's coming in. The European Union Commission President Ursula von der Leyen is going to be in India next week for the Republic Day celebrations here. And ahead of that visit, she has gone on to say that the EU will strike mother of all deals with India next week. Also adding that Europe will always choose the world and the world is ready to choose Europe. Zaka Jacob, my colleague, now joins us, getting us more details on this. But before that, let's listen in to what Ursula von der Leyen had to say.
Kit.